So like the stuff that Dad and I sold, it wasn't always exactly legal. Not to brag. Nothing particularly evil, just cheaper for the people. And we were a couple of cavalier Robin Hood racketeers racking up cash with our counterfeit gear. And through the years, we were shrewd with our language. These weren't fake Nike trainers we were selling. These were pre-licensed merchandise acquired through a mislabeled parcel shipment. And we weren't manufacturing and distributing thousands of counterfeit DVD movies. What we were doing was providing early release access for review purposes only. The right words can transform anything. We sold it all. We borrowed games from Blockbuster Video Store and made copies to sell on our stall. We sold a card that slots into your TV box and lets you watch all the channels minus the cost. And you remember the cost, the polos with the crocodile logos? Yeah, we sold those along with pretty much every other name brand. Our game plan was currency, and to get our hands on it, we broke the law comfortably. And I remember one time we found a company to help us on our fast hustle by agreeing to make us a batch load of brass knuckles, slightly modified so we could sell them as belt buckles. Yeah, my conscience still struggles with that, because we could have got in real trouble for that. So add that to our scandalous resume. We sold canisters of pepper spray from under the table. We sold fake Tiffany jewelry and counterfeit DVDs. And it was these, actually, that really gained gravity, because we would manufacture the best Hollywood movies at the time and distribute them nationally. So naturally, our market stall grew to be more of an enterprise. And people took note, and the law began to recognize. And once the news broke, bro, it all became televised. Extra, extra, read all about the DVD piracy plaguing our society. We were named and shamed. Our first taste of fame came with pain and anxiety. And I was still at school, so I failed my grades amid the outrage of multiple 6 a.m. police house raids. There was an investigation, a trial. That was a tribulation. And the judge spoke one short word that sent Dad on a long vacation. Guilty. But Dad wasn't in jail. Dad was like on a government-sponsored trip. And my family and I, we weren't drowning in the trauma of the moment. This was like character development, the formation of spicy memories. Because the right words can transform anything. So amid that excessive government punishment that left Mum suffering, a little sis struggling, the bills kept coming in and we had to make ends meet, so I was out wheeling and dealing and hustling. And it's puzzling looking back, it all feels tragic. We had to learn how to turn our setbacks to jetpacks, and that's real magic. And on the day of Dad's sentencing, I took myself out in the evening for a drink with and a meal with a couple of mates, right? I think I had like 2 glasses of wine with dinner. And as I get back in the car to drive home afterwards, I was pulled over instantly pulled over by the police. And they wanted to breathalyze me, but it was like 2006. So it took a little bit of time to get a car that had the breathalyzer in it, right? And I'm waiting at this bus stop, and I got these, and I'm like, fucking what my world could come to of all days. And anyway, it arrived about 40 minutes later, and I blew amber. It was like color-coded back then. So I was free to go. But these issues continued to follow me, even though I didn't want that at all, right? I was trying to seek peace. We had some shit happening in our lives right now. I need to stay out of trouble. And one of the businesses we transitioned to outside of like piracy and counterfeit gear was we would make license plates for cars, like the physical plate. People come and get a replacement done or a better style, different font. And we'd do those while people wait. And I was waiting there. I was working one afternoon, Tuesday afternoon at Barking Market, some crappy part of East London. And like near the end of the day, I probably made like 200 quid for the day or something, barely scraping by. And then these plainclothes officers from Scotland Yard approach me and they arrest me for conspiracy to arm rob, 15-year minimum sentence, right? And I ain't steal anything. But it turns out that I've been photographed selling license plates to people who are using those plates on their getaway vehicles for robbing Securicor vans, right? So this stuff just kept following me, and I realized that I had to make a change to shift up my narrative. This was the world I was in, and there was nothing I could do to avoid it unless I changed the way I was thinking. So I want you to picture that boy from the markets as a young man, standing at a crossroads, knowing the path he's on would land him in prison. And then a friend pulls him aside, like, man, listen, I know it feels like a rough hand you've been given, but you're young, smart, driven, with a ton of ambition, and you know more tricks than an amateur magician. What you need is a plan and a vision, and you can transition, you can seek purpose, you can repurpose these talents and be of service. Be the wordsmith, rewrite the narrative, flip the script and invite the challenges. If you shift your focus away from dodgy deals and learn more skills like magic and hypnosis, then you can be brilliant and people will notice and you could be famous. Think of the showbiz. This is the start of your metamorphosis. Believe in yourself, adjust your focus. You just got to trust the process. And their words inspired me, igniting a fire inside of me. I had decidedly set aside all of my pride and internal rivalry and turned a new page in my diary. It was time to be the change that I'd like to see. So I took myself down to the library and I borrowed every relevant book I could see. Poetry, philosophy, magic, hypnosis, psychology. Forget university. This is my angle. This would be my degree. If I can learn the skills to turn the ills of society, and I'm talking lying, cheating, stealing, deceiving, and piracy, and repackage them into something that shines so vibrantly, I could help others transform their setbacks to jetpacks and fly with me. And that was when I knew exactly what I should be. And the following years were a bit of a sandstorm, but here I stand in grown man form, living proof that words are magic and the right words can transform anything.